Welcome to the Tay and Todd Washington Commanders podcast. Almost said football team, but we are clearly out of that phase of life. Washington Commanders podcast brought to you by Fansided. And Todd, we are now 7 days away from when we're recording this right now. And lots of smoke in the air, lots to discuss. But Todd, I'm excited. This is almost my favorite time of the year. It's essentially kind of like a holiday to me. How you feeling?
I'm just like, the anticipation has reached its peak. I don't really want to talk about it anymore because we've talked about everything, every scenario. I've run mock drafts, just doing different scenarios. We've talked about all the players. So I'm just ready for it to happen. Only bad thing about it happening is that it's going to happen and then it'll be over. But at least I guess we'll have the new player. But yeah man, I'm just, that's where I'm at. I've hit the peak. So now let's just get this next week, like, you know, in the book so that it can be draft day.
Yeah, and I'm coming to a habit where every day when I wake up, after doing my regular routine, I typically do a mock draft. A mock draft simulator is literally a routine right now to get my day started. Usually do it to begin my day and to end my day.
one in the morning when you wake up, and one at night before you go to bed. Man, that's how you know I get that. Like it makes so much sense to me. But if you told someone else who doesn't, you know, keep up with this, and they would think that you are a psycho. Right. But I get it. It makes sense to me. Something about doing mock drafts is just like, why is it so fun to do mock drafts? And why is it so fun not just to do them, but to read them? As if the people doing them have any say or control or even know anything. But it's just like, hey, so-and-so mocked this person to us, and we like put weight into it, even though we know it's the same as us saying that. But yeah, man, I am ready. Like you said, the draft is like, it's one of my favorite. Something always comes up draft weekend. I always want to just sit down and just watch the whole thing. Something always comes up, but if I can at least sit down week one, uninterrupted, I mean, not week one, night one, round one, uninterrupted, and then Friday, then I'm good. Saturday can be hit or miss, but I'm ready to roll, Tay, and yeah, I'm just excited. Need this week to go by fast.
Yeah, same. And we didn't get to do our 4.0 last week. Yeah. So I guess we'll get started with 4.0 this week, and then we'll carry over next week. We may do 2 or whatever.
That works. Yeah. After 2 strong years of not getting COVID, it found me. It finally found me. I was doing good. Me and my wife, we were more upset that we got COVID because of just we had been proud of the fact that we hadn't got. We were more upset with that than that we had it actually, and we're sick. But so that's why there was no mock draft 4.0. But it's all right. We make up for it today, Tay. Anything else you want to say before we go into this mock draft?
A couple of things that stood out with Ron's interview with Logan Paulson. Yeah. I love his strategy in regards to how he sees talent and how he's very meticulous when it comes to what he looks for in a player. Mm-hmm. And it kind of dwindles the dwindles the field down for where you like to look at 11. I think a couple of things that stood out was the 2-minute drill. And how, that's so true. He talks about the routes and does a player get tired when he's running a route, or does he like give up? And those nuances are go unnoticed, but that him being a football player, he notices that stuff, and I think that was critical. And then he mentioned another thing about the sack numbers. And I thought that was just like, wow, that's really good stuff. So I'm intrigued after seeing that interview. I'm intrigued what they're going to do. I don't think he dropped too much of a hint, but I do think they are going to go receiver. I don't know what you got from that talk.
Yeah, no, I thought that was interesting. That's not the sort of thing you kind of think about. Like, let's watch a guy, see how he performs in some of these, situations. But it is critical. I think I think that it gives you the idea that they want. I mean, well, not idea. We know, but it just drives home the point that they want those like character guys. They want those like hard work, those guys with unquestioned work ethic and all that sort of thing, and that they pay attention to the little things, like how they run in and out of the huddle, like how they perform, in critical moments in the game in terms of their effort level and all that sort of thing, which is good. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure they're not the only team that does that. Every team does that, but it's different. And but I did think it was interesting how he talked about, just wide receivers and then blocking, and then the way he talked in depth more than anything was what was interesting, and kind of gave you the idea. He was specifically mentioning, those Ohio State receivers. Those were two names he specifically mentioned, right? Were those guys? So that just kind of makes you think. Obviously, players they've had in for visits, and that they were at their pro days. So I'm more of a I thought they were looking receiver, and honestly, after that, I think even more that they're looking receiver. Unless if one or two players that they just really don't expect to be there happen to be there at 11. But I think that they're looking at receivers, and I think that if Garrett Wilson is there, he is the pick. I think if Chris Olave is there, it may depend on who else is available. But and on top of that, those two guys, Tay, are the two players, honestly, of any position that Washington is looking at that I have the most confidence in them developing into just really good players here, more than anyone else. So personally.
Right.
So yeah, it was a really good interview. Definitely check it out. It's on, I think, the Commanders' YouTube channel. That was a really good interview with Ron Rivera. Yeah, and that it would also feel great if they draft one of those guys, because that's what we've been doing this whole time. So it would feel pretty good to be like completely right about that.
Yeah, it would be for the and those are two guys that I really like. So it'd be like.
Exactly.
A long time where we've kind of drafted a player where I'm like, yes, we gotta receive.
I agree.
A lot of Cowboys fans were so excited when they got Parsons and when they got CeeDee
Lamb, right? Exactly.
So I want to have that feeling of like, yes, we finally got a player. I did so much film study on.
Yeah, exactly. Like someone I'm very familiar with. Yeah, and
right.
I think people are starting to. I think Olave is being overthought. I think people are overthinking him, because sometimes a prospect is just so clean that as time goes on with the draft, waiting for the draft, narratives just change, and people's thoughts, and not in NFL. I mean, just out here, change. But what changed for a lot? Like, you can think that he may not be a top end true number one, but he is as clean a prospect as it gets, and is 100% deserving of being, a first round receiver. Like, I mean, he's just across the board clean, been clean, stayed clean, and people are, I think, just starting to overthink him. But yeah, I have more confidence in Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave than I do Drake London or Treylon Burks, maybe even Jameson Williams, just because I think those guys are just technicians, and I think they just, man, they're so good. But yeah, all right, let's get into it. Mock Draft 4.0 now, a week late. Let's do it. All right, Mock Draft 4.0. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, Tay. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Been pretty consistent with Aiden Hutchinson there. Get Malik Willis here to the Lions at 2 again. I don't think Willis is going to the Lions at 2, though.
And I don't think he's going at 2.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think 6 through 8 is the sweet spot for.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Panthers or the Falcons who you watch for Malik Willis if he's going in the top 10. There goes Kyle Hamilton to the Falcons, and Derek Stingley. So we're about to be on the clock. As of right now, Ahmad Gardner, Derek Stingley, and Kyle Hamilton are all off the board, Tay. If the Jets go receiver here, let's see what they do. They go Jordan Davis. Wow. Okay, so you've got all the receivers on the board here, and I accidentally just rejected that trade offer, but we weren't going to take it. It was with the New York Giants moving back to like 34 or something, right?
They're greedy. I mean, come on. You just got the best left tackle, and you just got one of the top 3 edge rushers.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a great draft for them, by the way.
It would be. Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau. So top 10 is Aiden Hutchinson, Malik Willis, Trayvon Walker, Ahmad Gardner, Evan Neal, Ikemi Kwanu, Kayvon Thibodeau, Kyle Hamilton, Derek Stingley Jr., and Jordan Davis. Now, this is my dream scenario where you just have your pick of the litter at wide receiver. I think that one or two will go somewhere between 4 and 10. But here we are. We've got Garrett Wilson on the board. We've got Jameson Williams on the board. And we really don't have any of those top cornerbacks or Kyle Hamilton that we're looking at. So who's your pick here?
You know what I find strange?
Yeah.
Last week and weeks leading up to it, Garrett Wilson, I've seen Garrett Wilson, and like I said, it's all simulators, and it's very subjective. But he's been going in, 1, 2, not 1, but 2 I've seen. And
2, 3, 5. Yep.
And the last couple of days, beginning of this week, he's been available in almost every single draft I've done at 11. And I've even traded back in some, and he's been there around 13 or 14. So I don't know if that says anything about, what people know, or I don't know, or like hype or what. But this is exactly how I would love if the board felt like this. Yeah, Kyle Hamilton would hurt, but whatever. Derek Stingley, yes, get him out the way. He's good talent, but I just don't want him here in Washington. If the board felt like this, I would be kicking my feet up.
Oh man,
praying that they won't trade back. They would take the top receiver on the board.
Which is a good point. I think if the board falls like this, there is a chance maybe you have more of those offers to move back. But I'm not on the trade back train anymore. I'm looking at a receiver here now. I want to ask the question: you got Charles Cross sitting there at offensive tackle, but I think that offensive line, you're more set up than you are at the skill position group right now. Jameson Williams is a name we don't really talk about much, though, and I think that's really just because of the ACL injury, right? Because the thought of him, let's take the ACL out of the equation. The thought of him, or having him with his speed in a downfield passing attack, and with the quarterback who can throw the ball 70 yards down the field and likes to throw the ball that far, that's exciting. So now he did tear his ACL in January. It's about typically a 9-month recovery, which means he's maybe starting on the PUP list. I would say he's playing for you around that week 4 earliest, week 4-6 range. I don't know if he'll be 100% himself then, but what are you doing here? Are you going Garrett Wilson? I love Garrett Wilson. Are you going Jameson Williams with the crazy speed? Are you going Chris Olave?
At this point, Olave, it's too rich with these guys here on the board.
With these guys here, I agree.
Now, say if Garrett Wilson went top 10 and Jameson Williams went top 10, maybe I would consider Olave with Stingley on the board as the pick here at 11. But since we're at 11 and no receivers have been taken as of yet, I think you absolutely have to go Garrett Wilson.
And I agree with you. I think that's what we did last time around, but hey, this is the player we want. This is the guy that I want 100%. And he's sitting here at 11. We really didn't have any good trade offers. I think if we had trade offers, if we had a decent offer to move back, not too much, I'd be looking at that. We don't have any. So let's do it. Garrett Wilson, pick number 11.
Yeah,
and no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just think with him, I just think with him, and the reason why I'm so on board with the Commanders taking a wide receiver at 11 is because if you're able to field an offense that has Terry McLaurin and Garrett Wilson becomes the player that you expect, which honestly is like an Odell Beckham-like type of player coming out of college. And if you do, because people keep talking about a healthy Curtis Samuel, and Curtis Samuel should be healthy. If you have that with the healthy Curtis Samuel and upgraded play at the quarterback position, I think you have just a night and day offense in terms of explosiveness from last year.
Oh, I mean, hands down. And then you would say he's a deep threat?
Yeah, I mean, he ran a faster 40 than Olave. He ran, a 4.36, I think. So that's not what he's known for, but yeah, he is.
I mean, I would love that because then you can it's just so much diversity in that. You can move him. Man, just get the ball in his hands.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I just think he can do it all. you look at just having two absolute studs at one position at wide receiver here, having those studs in the defensive line. I just think, man, that the thought of that is so exciting. I think at that point you can have an offense that could score 25 plus points a game, and just suddenly have an explosiveness that has been lacking here, just for so long, Tay. Since the Deshaun Watson, not Deshaun Watson, the Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon days, right? So, and
I think if they go Wilson, they arguably have the best. Like, and I keep saying this, they'll arguably have a top offense in the NFC, but arguably the best offense in the NFC East, if we're being honest.
I mean, with the Cowboys losing Amari Cooper, you've got it over the Giants, you've got it over the Eagles, so it would definitely have the potential for that, I think, especially consider Curtis Samuel. People forget how good Curtis Samuel can be if he's healthy. We're on the clock here at 47 now. We've got a couple trade offers. We've got one with the Falcons to move back to 56 and pick up 88, and then give up a 189, and then one to move back to 64 and pick up 75. I'm going to put those away for now. 47, Tay. We've got your guy Troy Anderson down there. We've got Quay Walker, linebacker from Georgia. Chad Muma, linebacker from Wyoming. Christian Harris, linebacker from Alabama. Trey McBride, tight end, Colorado. I'm not actually huge on drafting a linebacker as much, but I would like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, considering that Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker aren't there, I would honestly, and David Ojabo, if he's there, I may consider it. But we kind of need. I'm looking at trading back here because you can probably get. I mean, you're going to risk it, but you could probably get Troy McBride. Trey McBride.
Yeah.
At 56, and then you pick up 88, or if not, you can still get Troy Anderson without reaching.
Right. And Jalen Petrie, from the safety from Baylor, is another player I think we could add to that list where if we trade back, I'm comfortable with that selection too. Right. So let's look at these trade offers. Moving back 9 spots to pick up 88, give away 47 and 189, or move back 17 spots and pick up 75.
I like this one with the Falcons because
Okay. 9 spots and grabbing 88. 88's a third rounder for you. Okay, so you want to go with...
Unless you're just bent on Muma.
I'm not bent on Muma. I'm comfortable with trading back. There's no one available that I love.
Yeah, I think him and Troy Anderson are kind of neck and neck, personally. So
I think there's a chance that definitely one of those guys at least is sitting there for us if we move back. So you want to move back with the Falcons, 56, pick up 88?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. All right, we're trading back. Falcons at 47. Who'd they trade up for? Drake Jackson. Okay. So we're looking at...
Ooh, that's a reach.
So Jalen Petrie is off the board there at 48. Okay. We're still looking at Troy Anderson, Trey McBride. Chad Muma goes to the Eagles at 51. All righty. And let's see. We're coming up here. If your guy Troy Anderson, let's see if he's... So there goes Trey McBride, Falcons. Okay. All right. That's one pick before us. You get Trey McBride, but okay. So is your guy here Troy Anderson
or Christian Harris?
Or Christian Harris? Which one are you looking at? What about is Quay Walker?
Quay Walker. I haven't done much study. I need. But Ron talked about those Georgia guys.
Right. So, right. Exactly. I think. Then you look down the board. Leo Chenal from Wisconsin is I think a guy you like. Kobe Bryant. So. Well, I guess I'm looking at linebacker. If there is anything else we're looking at here, honestly, Tyler Linderbaum sitting here at center is that you got to think about that one, Tay.
You have to. You really do have to.
I didn't even really notice that he was sitting there. That's crazy. He's a very good.
Yeah.
He's a very good player. I think you have to go. I think at that point you're going best player available, and Linderbaum has no business being available at 56
at all.
I know he's a center. I'm curious about if he comes in. Are you putting him at guard for now? You're probably putting him at guard to start, I would think, and then letting him replace Rouye, or are you putting Rouye at guard? I don't know, but I think we got to take Tyler Linderbaum here at 56, the 34 ranked overall player.
Right.
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's do that. That's pretty crazy. I wasn't even looking there. I didn't even really notice he was sitting there. That's pretty crazy. That's insane value. That would definitely earn an A+ grade from all the draft nicks. And you're upgrading your interior offensive line, which I love that. Just not in the first round.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm all for it as a whole. So now your guy Troy Anderson. We've still got those 3 linebackers. All 3 of them still sitting there. We've got Leo Chenal down the board some. We've also got Greg Dulcich. Nick Cross was the one I was about to get to. We've got and there goes Nick Cross. Okay, well, Likely and Dulcich at tight end.
Likely's gone.
There goes Likely. Okay, I like him. No pun intended. And all right. Well, I guess we've got a little bit to go. Let's see. What are we looking at? I think Chenal maybe sitting there for us potentially.
Mm-hmm.
What else are we looking at? Jake Ferguson, tight end. James Cook at running back. Brian Robinson, at running back. And where's Kobe Bryant, cornerback from Cincinnati, played across from Ahmad Gardner at Cincinnati.
Right. And then you got hold on, let me see. No futures.
All right, so we've got from the Browns, pick 99 and a future 4th, and then Cowboys 129 and a future 3rd. I don't think we are looking at either of those.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and reject both of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. 88, Leo Chenal sitting there. And that's a guy that has a lot. Are you high on Chenal? I'm trying to remember if that was you or if that was Zach.
I'm not high on Chenal, but he's a dog for sure.
Yeah. Rashad White
from Wisconsin. So
I'll take any linebacker who played in Wisconsin. I've done a little bit of study on him. I don't know enough to say I love him, but I would feel comfortable taking him here. Rashad White from Arizona State is an impressive running back. I don't think there is a tight end I'd be looking at here versus at 113 where we still have that pick. So, and then you've got Darian Beavers at 114, who's potentially there if we were to go a different route here. But I think
that's tough.
There's no one. Kobe Bryant is off the board. Yeah, he's gone 82 to the Ravens. So for me, I think I'd probably go Chenal
or Rashad White.
I'm fine with either. If you're comfortable and you think you like Beavers,
I'd like Beavers, but I can't.
I think I would, because you've got to, where's James Cook? James Cook is down here. I think I'd be okay with taking a running back at 113 and going Chenal here. But
okay,
if you want to go Rashad White here,
let's do that. Let's do Chenal.
Okay. All right, we'll go Chenal at 88. Linebacker from Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska. Any of those states and teams with linebackers and offensive guards, I'll take them.
Yeah.
It's like first round values.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Rashad White continues to be on the board. I don't think he'll make it to 113, but if he does, I think we're going to run that pick in.
Oh yeah. But I got my eyes set on James Cook, probably more than likely.
Yeah, probably James Cook. And then after that, I don't think we have any picks. We're doing up to the 5th round. I don't think we added any in the 5th. So this would be our last pick. And there goes Rashad White, 102 to the Dolphins.
Right. Okay.
I'm curious to see. I know we're not looking at Bailey Zappi, but I'm curious to see where he ends up in the draft in real life. Because, he broke Joe Burrow's records in college. But, nobody cares.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are the Seahawks, Bailey Zappi, 113. Let's see. All right. Okay. On the clock, we've got James Cook there. Beavers is there. We took Chenal. We got Jake Ferguson, Wisconsin tight end. I think I would probably go James Cook here over there. Kyron Williams, more of a third-round back. Explosive player, Zion McCollum. And then you've got Jelani Woods at tight end as well.
Ooh.
Right, who is at 131. So, let's see. What are you thinking, Tay?
I'm looking at, because of the value here, I think you got to go Cook, but okay. I don't think that's what they want in a back.
They want more of a, do you think that, right, which is more like Brian Robinson Jr. from Alabama, right?
Give me Robinson.
You want Brian Robinson?
Yeah, give me Robinson. I think what Ron is, he's looking for that back that's just powerful, that will, beat your body, outside of Gibson. Hopefully Gibson can get back to, 4.3 speed. That he has. But I like Brian Robinson here as opposed to Cook. I think Robinson being in the SEC and being able, what Ron said, how did they play against Georgia? How did the running back and how did the offensive line play? And I think that's going to be vital in the NFC East. That's going to be physical with the Giants' top 2 picks probably being on both lines of scrimmages. And in Dallas, man, their D-line is just crazy. And then you have the Eagles with Fletcher Cox and the rest of those guys. So I'm going to lean towards Brian Robinson, seeing that you have a McKissick and you still have, what's my guy from
Jarrett Patterson
that kind of replicate James Cook, but obviously not as good. But give me Brian Robinson here.
Okay, I'm cool with taking Brian Robinson. I think the other player I would have considered would have been Jelani Woods at tight end, but I think you kind of do need that power in the middle at running back. You've got Gibson, who's your bell cow, who's, I guess, kind of supposed to be on both ends of it. You've got McKissick, who is your clear third down guy, and now Brian Robinson, who is your, 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 situation guy. That was an issue for Washington last year. What game was it where there were multiple fourth and shorts where they could convert? I'm trying to remember which game. I think it may have been the Packers game.
I think it was the Packers game.
It was the Packers game, right, where they just there was multiple times they were moving the ball. They were moving the ball up and down the field, but then just couldn't convert on some really short 3rd down, 4th down conversions. That was frustrating. So, I think that's our last pick, Tay. So while we let this play out, the rest of the 4th and the 5th round, add Garrett Wilson in the 1st at 11. 2nd round, we trade back a little bit and we take the best player available, and Tyler Linderbaum there at center, which is just crazy value. That's, I think, a 1st round player. In the 3rd round, go Leo Chenal at at linebacker. In the 4th, Brian Robinson at running back. How are you feeling about it?
Honestly, I would feel very good about this because obviously getting Garrett Wilson, you got to line up with Terry, Garrett Wilson,
right?
Curtis Samuel. Then you got De'Ami Brown, and the other spots are up for grabs. Dax Miller.
Right. Camp Simpson.
I think, I think you are literally good at receiver for a long time. For a very long time. You kind of settle that position.
Right.
And then you go Lindenbaum. I love that pick because, that gives you some flexibility as far as O-line. We got a pretty young O-line, so you can see them develop together. And with Rouye coming off an injury, we don't have to rush him back. Don't feel pressure to rush him back. Buying some time. And then with Chenal, that's the kind of guy they want back there, at the linebacker spot. Now, like I said, I need to do some more film study on him as far as the Mike position, but he is fast and he gets after it.
Yeah.
Seems like a Jack Del Rio guy that is willing to put his body on the line. And then the last pick, Brian Robinson, I think he's I like that pick because he's physical. He'll beat your body. If Gibson goes down for a couple of weeks, which he normally does, with a toe injury, or if he's given some time to rest, say, look, we got Brian Robinson here that can carry a load.
Yeah.
None in the SEC. So this draft is very I like it. And it basically has to do with our first pick, which is a guy who I think is going to be a star in this league.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. You kind of, if you come out of a draft like this, I think that at skill positions, I think you need to add something at tight end, but I think it's skill positions primarily and along the offensive line. You're good, and I don't think Wentz is the quarterback of the future. They do, but I think that they would honestly be in a pretty good spot offensively. Yep. And then, defensively, you're adding a player in Leo Chenal. I've always felt, though, that their talent exists on the defensive side, and the number of first-round picks that exist on the defensive side would suggest that compared to the number on the offensive side. So, yeah, man, I think if you come out of this, like I said, I've kind of jumped off the trading back train because there's no data that suggests that more picks means better picks. Mm-hmm. It's all about the picks that you make. So I'm not convinced that trading back and getting more picks, while that would be more fun for us and, more to talk about and more fun to watch, I just want them to draft good players with what they have. And if you have, 3-4 picks and you draft 3 or 4 good players, boom, that you've done a good job. So that's where I'm at. I like this draft. I think I'd have to look back at the other ones and see, but grabbing Garrett Wilson in the first absolutely would excite me so much. So I'm really hoping that ends up as a reality.
Yeah, I hope so. Those two guys, you can't go wrong with Wilson or Olave. But if Wilson has the more potential out of the two, for sure.
I agree.
The more upside and the more pop. And like you said, you made a good point. Even if Wentz isn't the guy, just imagine next year going in and saying, "Look, okay, we're back at this again. We got $28 million at cap space that we can get rid of, but now look at the situation we got. We got star power at receiver. We got a plethora of receivers. Whatever you need, you got a deep end, you got a possession, whatever you need in Garrett. You got a gadget in Curtis Samuel. Then you got Terry McLaurin, who's just steady Eddie's gonna be where you need him. Then you got running backs, you got your power, you got Gibson, you got McKissick, your third down back. Tight end, you can kind of shore up on. Offensive line, we got Lindenbaum. And then you're like, okay, we have everything we need on offense. Now we just need a quarterback. I think you start making preparation. You build for Wentz now, but you start making preparation for next year. If it just in case Wentz isn't the guy, you can go into next offseason and say, look, this is what we got.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I think also having Wentz, you're absolutely setting him up for success. I think if you come out as I want them to add to skill positions, but I think if you end up, with a guy like Linderbaum sitting there at 54, which I just don't think happens, but if you end up and your offensive line is short and you added on the skill positions, and so now you've got time and weapons. He led an off. I know the Colts went 9-8 last year. He led an offense though that they scored 26.5 points a game. I know they were running the ball a lot too, but Wentz is, he can do it with his arm. And I think if you surround him with talent and protection, then you can limit the mistakes and the mental errors that can cause, the reason that nobody wants Carson Wentz to take place. So I would love it. I'd be excited about it. I'm ready for the draft just to know what happens. And I'm just ready. I'm excited.
How are you feeling on night one if you end up with Garrett Wilson? Like, how are you feeling?
I would say I'm sleeping like a baby, but I probably wouldn't sleep because I'm gonna watch every possible video I can find on the guy.
Every interview,
everything, every word he's ever said, I'm gonna know about it. Man, I'd feel as good as I felt since RG3, honestly.
Yeah, same.
Honestly, same. Like even more than Chase Young, honestly. Yeah. Like I was excited about Chase Young, but I wasn't through the roof about Chase Young.
Right.
Not about Haskins, not about Sweat, not about Doxson, definitely not about Sheriff. Yeah. So it would be a feeling that I haven't felt about 10 years. So I'm hoping that we end up there. And I honestly think for me, Garrett Wilson is the only guy that if we draft Olave, I will be very excited. Yeah. If we end up with one of those top corners or Kyle Hamilton, I'll be like, okay, cool, that's good. But if you end up with Garrett Wilson, I will be through the roof. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I don't even want to ask you what your way too early projection will be. We got to get the player first before we.
Yeah. Let's get him first, and then we'll start projecting. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Right. Tay, we have another meeting in the Super Bowl as well in Madden. I think I got you back. Well, I think I owe you twice though, because I think you'd gotten me twice in the Super Bowl. I think, or was it in the playoffs one time?
I think it's in the playoffs.
Okay, all right. But I knew I owed you two meaningful ones, and I've gotten one of them. So we'll see what happens this time, man.
Yeah, and then the last regular season game was a battle. That was pretty fun.
That was fun.
And
that was a crazy game. That was a crazy game.
3 field goals. So.
Yeah. At one play, I ran to the sideline and the receiver ran outside. And,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. I was just sitting there. I was like, I know he's so mad right now. So we're gonna play the Super Bowl. As always, we're gonna be friends no matter the outcome.
That's for sure.
I felt a lot more pressure the last one. This is our back-to-back times now meeting in the Super Bowl. I felt a lot more pressure in the last one because of the one before that. Right. Where I was up and then you came back. Last time I was like, I had to win. This time I need to win, but I won't feel as bad as if I would have lost last time. So
right.
That's I'll talk to you again soon. I'll talk to you here soon.
We're ready. My squad is ready. So
yeah, my guys are ready too, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Game plan ready to roll.
We've been tearing through the the playoffs here. I'm not gonna lie to you. So we really know when to turn it on, Tay. Yeah. I don't want to scare you or anything, but my guys know when to turn it on. Okay. And I got Surtain on one side. I got Tre'Davious White on the other, and I got a kid I drafted in the slot. All of them super. So I'm looking forward to it.
Look, I just had a user game last week where a guy threw -5 passing. We're ready to roll, man. We haven't seen nothing yet. You haven't seen nothing yet, man.
Woo, man, -5. This is the number one. I have the number one passing offense, so we're gonna see which strength for strength. We're gonna find out. We are going to see -5. Okay, all right, Tay. I'm gonna talk to you soon. It's been great as always. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is Todd.
And this is Tay.